Hello, I didn't get my newspaper on Saturday. That's because Extinction Rebellion blockaded all the printing presses. I don't know whether they were all, but the three main ones that were printing the newspapers run by Rupert Murdoch. Here, this is the news item in the BBC. Extinction Rebellion protesters block newspaper printing presses. Now, it was quite an operation and must have required a very great deal of organisation because it was over the whole country. So it wasn't just a bunch of, a group of people who just turned up. They were all in place at these different printing houses at the same time. Extinction Rebellion activists have delayed the distribution, they did more than that, I didn't get my paper at all, of several national newspapers after blocking access to 3 printing presses owned by Rupert Murdoch. Protesters targeted newsprinters' presses at Broxbourne in Hertfordshire. That's a huge place, Knowsley in Merseyside, that's around Liverpool, and near Motherwell in North Lanarkshire, so that's in Scotland. So the 3 main areas. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said the action was unacceptable. 80 people have been arrested. But you can see that was a huge and concerted operation. So, we can think at least of the dangers that this represents, because this was like a military operation and would have required a lot of discipline and organisation, as I said. And you worry about that sort of thing. That isn't just demonstrating anymore. That's revolution, and it's revolution from some sort of a central organisation. But I don't know what it is. I mean, we can make guesses, but I can't say anything about that for sure. So what I'm going to talk about really is karma. Karma is a word meaning the result of a person's actions as well as the actions themselves. It's a term about the cycle of cause and effect. According to the theory of karma, what happens to a person or an organisation happens because they caused it with their actions. It's an important part of many religions such as Hinduism and Buddhism. In Shinto religion, never mind, we don't need that. You all know what karma means. If you didn't before, you do now. That is, if you do something bad, even if it appears to be to your advantage, it comes back to bite you sooner or later. And indeed, this is what happened. So we have the Mail, which is one of the Murdoch papers so affected, becoming foaming at the mouth, enraged by what happened to them, and insulting. The middle-class eco-rabble who want to kill off free speech. Extinction Rebellion activists moan their climate change doomsday message isn't being printed on newspaper front pages every day as they block access to national presses. Now, what do they say here? They demand that the papers print every day the message that the world's about to end in a fiery ball of overheating, okay? And here, again, so just a minute, these guys were an middle-class eco-rabble, because, of course, being middle-class is one of the biggest sins you can commit. And then here, biggest hypocrite of all, independent newspaper. Well, I agree with them. I agree with them about this. Independent newspaper columnist Donagha McCarthy supports blocking print plants as fellow anarchists are revealed as BBC contributor, actress and teacher. What he's saying here and getting so infuriated about is that the middle classes are angry with the Murdoch papers for their opinions and so agree that they should be shut down. Now, before I go any further, and why I am talking about karma is because I don't recall the Daily Mail getting so exercised when Alex Jones was shut down. I don't remember them screaming their heads off about Tommy Robinson being shut down. You see, they might say, well, we disagree with the way Alex Jones presents the news, and we disagree with Tommy Robinson's political opinions. So we don't disagree with shutting him down. Well, here, Daily Mail, it's happening to you now, because there are other people who disagree with your opinions, and they don't object to you being shut down. And you find yourself on the receiving end of what amounts to a military operation. Now, I can imagine that at some point in the boardroom, somebody said, should we support Tommy Robinson or Alex Jones or freedom of the press? And somebody else said, no, this will make it look like we're on the the side of the right or the far right or whatever they happen to be calling it at the time. And that's just appeasement. If it's appeasement you were after, then again, appeasement doesn't work. It works for a time. So the alligator, or the crocodile, wasn't it? The crocodile eats Alex Jones and Tommy Robinson, and then it eats you. Let's see. The Telegraph, they also were shut down. That's the paper I get delivered. Extinction Rebellion, Printworks protest, completely unacceptable, says Boris Johnson. So they're quoting somebody else, but they are quoting him because they agree with him. The Prime Minister has branded Extinction Rebellion's blockading of major printing presses completely unacceptable. Boris Johnson said a free press is vital and criticised the activists for trying to limit the public's access to news. Well, actually, it's limiting the public's access to the news you choose to print. It's limiting the public's access to your opinions about the news. It's not limiting the public's access to the news, which they can get from any newspaper and from any online source as well. No, it's limiting your ability to put your opinions into the public square. And you find this totally unacceptable, and so do I. But my question is, why didn't you find it totally unacceptable when Alex Jones was shut down? Let's have a look at this. Here's the Sun. Extinction Rebellion's blockade fiasco proves our cops are biased. Friday's infamous blockhead blockade, that's typical Sun, of the UK's biggest printworks was more than just an attack on the newspaper industry. Oh yes, it was. It was more than an attack on the newspaper industry, but it was definitely an attack on the right-wing newspaper industry. Without free speech, we do not have democracy. Without a free press, we do not have free speech. Quite right. Two things to say to you, oh Sun. Tommy Robinson, Alex Jones. Yes? Let's just have a look at that word karma again. You print lies about Tommy Robinson, especially the Daily Mail, by the way. You print lies about him in an attempt to calumny him so any of his opinions don't get out. You cheer when he's shut down and when he's arrested. Yeah? You're not cheering now, are you? Extinction Rebellion's bid to silence the nation's biggest selling newspapers exposed a crisis at the heart of our system of politics, policing, and civic responsibility. No, no, no. It exposes you for the hypocrites you are. Let's have a look at this. The Evening Standard. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can make the view on this. No, I'm trying to... Oh, there we are. Attack on democracy. Priti Patel and Labour condemns Extinction Rebellion newspaper blockade. Oh, yeah. Priti Patel and Labour condemn you being shut down. Evening Standard. And the others. Why didn't they condemn other people being shut down? Other people, why didn't they condemn, for instance, those German guys who were thrown out of the country? Forgotten the name now. I'll find his name and I'll put it up here. They came into the country, they landed, and they were sent straight out again. And they were just going to make a speech to Hyde Park, I think, in Speaker's Corner, which they had every right to do. Why didn't you complain about that? Well, you may not agree with their opinions, but provided that they are not calling for killing or incitement or anything, just giving their opinions, why were you not supporting them? Oh, because they had opinions you didn't like. And now you're complaining about attack on democracy when they are coming for you. I am so angry. Stop that. I am so angry. This utter hypocrisy. Look at this. This attack on our free press, society and democracy is completely unacceptable. Yes, it is. And it's completely unacceptable the way you acted about other people who were maybe to the right of you, or maybe were saying things you just didn't like. Yeah? So, let's go back to that. Maybe you should take a look at this Wikipedia thing. Karma is a word meaning the result of a person's actions as well as the actions themselves. You don't defend Tommy Robinson. Why would you expect anybody to defend you? Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.